This is Tina Lorenz, and I'm here today with one of my Authentic Copy students, Lisa. And I asked, hi, Lisa. And I asked Lisa to join me for a few minutes because I just wanted to chat with you about your experience and your journey in Authentic Copy, because you've been in it for, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 weeks, something like that in the program.
Yeah, 4 or 6, somewhere in there.
Yeah. So, because you've shared a story with me of how you found me in the first place. I was thinking, could we just chat about that for a minute? But so, as I recall, you were in a very well-known copywriting program some years ago, actually, like learning copywriting. And I was an instructor in that program at the time. But you weren't in my room, so to speak. We were at the same school, but not in the same room. So you were telling me kind of an interesting story about that. So what is it that you noticed when you were in that program? And I happened to be teaching in it as well.
Well, there were a number of us. We were all assigned different teachers, and I was taking the class for another business that I had that I've since closed. And the teacher it was set up billboard style. So you would post your homework, which was your sales letter or your bullets or whatever portion of the homework assignment you had. And your teacher would, at some point within the next 24 to 48 hours, would critique it and give you tips to improve. The nice part about the class was that you could see other students, what they submitted and what their teachers were responding to their stuff. So my teacher was absent for several days for whatever reason, but so I started browsing the other classrooms and seeing what other people had submitted. And that's where I discovered you. And I really, really liked your style. I liked the way you, just the way you responded and the tips you gave. I just felt like everything was helpful and it made sense. And I was like, oh yeah, I can apply this. And so I did steal some of the info from myself. And I actually requested you to be switched to your classroom. And I was told that that was not possible. So I was very disappointed, but I sort of stalked you.
in a good way.
In a healthy way. In a healthy way. On Facebook, on the internet, I watched for you. And then when I saw you join Facebook and somehow you popped up into my feed, or I was searching for you one day and there you were, and I friended you and you said, well, watch for this, because you were very kind to reply to a private message. And when your class came around, the timing was perfect, and I said, this is something I'm definitely going to do. So I decided to revisit it, because I did copy for a little while and I took a hiatus, had some personal issues, and put those behind me, and decided it was time to revisit it.
It's so funny because I didn't know any of this. I didn't know that you were in that program. I didn't know that you had asked for me to be your teacher, and so it's just really been interesting to hear this now, because I had no idea. And they at the time, that was not shared information or anything like that. So this is kind of one of those lessons for people too. If you never know in your own business, when you're working online or whatever you might be doing in your services that you offer online, or just getting started, you never know where those connections are going to lead. And sometimes connections are being made you don't even know about. And so it's just, I think this is like a really helpful thing for people to keep in mind as you have your journey online, that you never know who's watching, and who's just waiting for that right moment. So I think that should actually be like super encouraging to people as they are building a business, whether they're starting as a copywriter or they have their own service to offer, that sometimes it takes some time. Sometimes that traction isn't something that you realize is happening right away. But I think that's a great lesson, Lisa. So I really appreciate you sharing that. I think the other thing that you've mentioned to me is that you didn't really realize how much mindset and the spiritual aspect of how I teach copywriting, what I bring into the program at Authentic Copy. You weren't even fully aware at first that was as an important element as it has proven to be for you, actually, personally too. So can you talk to me a little bit about that? Like it kind of surprised you that I lead with mindset and authentic copy. And that's where I begin. And it's a super foundational piece that comes all the way. We speak about it frequently in our Authentic Copy Interactive Facebook group, don't we?
We do, and it's an important part of things. It's amazing to me how much just different things about our family, society. You know, even if you're a little kid and you know when you were with your parents, you might have been in the store and you wanted I don't know, a piece of candy or a certain cereal or who knows what, and then you know mom and dad, oh, we can't afford that. Yeah. And how much we internalize some of those lessons, and some go deeper than that. Some people are dirt poor, and you know some don't have that issue. But it's amazing the lessons that we take on, and it's been surprising to me at, you know, knowing my own background and my issues around money, that you know how far forward they can carry. Yeah. And we don't even really realize it. So mindset is really just that whole habitual thought where you don't even realize until you're introduced to a paradigm shift that you can think differently and you can believe differently and be able to change. I've heard it called a money thermostat. You know, there was a time when I had my business where I stuck a dollar amount on the wall behind one of my big pieces of equipment where no one else would see it. But anytime I would go to change the thermostat for the heat in the building, it would see that and say, yeah, that's what I want to earn. That's what I want to earn. I did achieve some success with the business, but I only scratched the surface of the mindset, and I had a lot of other issues behind it. So when I discovered that was a piece of what you were offering, that was very intriguing for me, and I thought, score, you know. And I actually got, you know, I got a bonus that I really wasn't expecting. You know, I bought the course fully expecting that this was just going to be a review, help me sharpen my skills, maybe get some good critiques and get rolling. Honestly, the bonus that I went after when I signed up was the one that told you how to get your first clients, because that's always been an issue for me. And I honestly think that the two, the money mindset and the who's going to want to listen to me or hire me, kind of go hand in hand. So it's a really well-rounded piece that doesn't have to be, I mean, it's spiritual, but it's not religious-based. It's really, you know, if you've ever done self-hypnosis or if you've ever done, you know, even yoga, you know, there's so many different ways you can meditate and focus. It doesn't have to, it could be prayer. I mean, whatever works for the individual. So for me, it's been a really wonderful piece for me to be able to focus on that and, you know, come up with like a new mantra that I can use, and just noticing my thoughts and, you know, being able to sort of change on the fly instead of stewing on something for days and days and days and not even realizing how it's been affecting you. So it's really raised my awareness, and I feel things changing.
Yeah, and that's one of the things you said to me. I mean, one of the things that we in our the Authentic Copy Interactive Facebook group, and it's actually one of the bonuses, is that I have my wristband on, we're celestial Sherpas, and I teach a whole spiritual dimension of what does that mean and what is that Sherpa aspect, and it's become kind of, you know, you even coined the phrase Sherpal or Sherpa-ing, you know, it's kind of become a catchphrase in the group. And really what that means is that, you know, not only are we able to tap into the guidance and the inspiration we need individually and how that affects us both in our just regular life, but also how we write copy and what we put into that, but also how we deliver the message, because a Sherpa is also an emissary. They're not only a guide, but they're an emissary. And so we have kind of a culture we're building inside Authentic Copy where we each become that celestial Sherpa, not only for ourselves, but for those we serve. And I think that it's something that's become really important, I think, to all of us. I know one of the bonuses, I am a celestial Sherpa, and it's to help us keep that touchstone of however our belief systems are about something higher, a higher power. To me, it's God. I believe that most of the people in the group, I think, identify it that way, but that inspiration and that calling of what we're meant to do. And one of the things that's so exciting to me about you, Lisa, is that you have shared with me that you just feel this change happening in yourself. You feel this kind of, I think I would interpret it as forward momentum. You can correct me if you feel it's something different, but what would you say about that? That you're just feeling that growth inside that's a really personal, internalized awareness of what you're capable of and where you can go with this?
For me, I think it's more of a return to joy. And it's kind of silly if you think about it that way, but honestly, it's when you're really young and you get really excited about something, you have that passion for something, whether it was your first somersault or, it was your first school play or whatever it happened to be that, kind of lit a fire for you and made you excited. And over time, you kind of, oh, don't be too happy, don't cry, don't laugh now, you'll cry tomorrow. Silly things like that you hear that kind of steal your thunder, wet blanket, whatever you want to call it. So you sort of learn through life to kind of find this middle road where you don't want to get too high, you don't want to get
be too happy, don't be too successful,
yes,
don't make too much money.
Let's be mediocre all the way. So moving from that point and realizing that it can be different and that it is different and it's changing for me, it's getting me excited again. I get really pumped up when I can help people. And when I had my other business and I was going through the copywriting, I would give a lot of my clients marketing advice because I was learning all this stuff. It was so exciting. It spilled over into everything I did. And so I had these wonderful conversations with people and, they would come back and tell me, oh, hey, I tried that thing you were telling me. And yeah, it really worked. It's amazing. So
that's one of the things we talk about in Authentic Copy is kind of that just-in-time learning. I mean, one of the things I talk about when sometimes people are afraid, well, I don't know enough about marketing and how can I do this without previous experience? And what I teach and what I've done in my own life, and I think I'm hearing it in yours as well, is that you already know more than you think you do. If you start learning these marketing strategies and learning these basic elements of copy, you're already far ahead of a lot of the entrepreneurs and business people that need your services. You're already steps ahead, even if you're not quite aware of that. And when you start talking about what you're learning, for example, what you're learning in Authentic Copy, when you start talking about that with your potential client or people that you just meet in business and you're networking with, you find out, sometimes you get that surprise when they're like, oh, wow, really? And they don't know. They don't know. And so by just keeping that 3 steps ahead and continuing to build your marketing knowledge and your skills, you really can serve these people very effectively. And it doesn't take all that long to get to that 3 steps ahead point. And I think you experienced in the previous business that you had, and that it's probably becoming even more real to you now that, hey, I really have something to offer here. I really can do that. And so that's super gratifying to me. I'm just so grateful that you've shared this with me because it helps feed me as well to know that I'm serving the people that I'm working with in Authentic Copy. And it's like, kind of like we're growing a family. Like it's a really, and what's your experience inside the interactive or private Facebook group? I mean, as far as it being supportive or any of those types of things?
Well, it's very supportive. I submitted something to the Q&A, and I think everybody gets a great deal of benefit out of the Q&A session that you do every Tuesday. So, and I can't, most of us can't be, well, a lot of us can't be there during the day because we have other jobs, lives, etc. But it's great that it's recorded. So I imagine it's great fun for the people that are there live, and I got there for a little bit live. I stole away at a break at work. But you know, when you get to listen to the full thing, and the one I submitted, so many people were thanking me and saying how helpful it was for them. And honestly, the critiques that I've watched of other people, it makes so much sense, because, you know, you can see the real life example of, oh, okay, yeah, I probably would have said it that way too. Oh, that's why it doesn't work. Okay, now I get it.
Yes.
So it's, you know, and just even the helpful stuff. Oh, there's some great material here, and seeing how you can tweak it to make it that much more. That's exciting. That's really exciting.
It's really fun. I actually love doing it because I love marketing. And so, and obviously I'm a word nerd, or I wouldn't be doing what I do, but it's just to be able to see how can we strengthen that? What can we do to make that even more effective? And it's not a tearing down of anything. It's a, adding that energy and revitalizing it and taking a good idea and sometimes finding the ones that maybe aren't the good ideas and saying, no, let's not do that, but this is why, so that you know why we want to go that direction with how the copy is written and what that message is. Because really when it comes down to, it's really about building relationship. And so we build relationships in Authentic Copy, we build them in our community, in the interactive, and we work on building that relationship with your potential clients and the people that you're communicating with through your copy. And how you're going to build your business. And so it all fits together. And the spiritual aspect as well as the mindset is just, to me, it's like kind of the rocket fuel for your business when you can add this extra element and not just kind of the superficial. One of the things I teach is we're always selling more than it looks like. It's beneath the surface of how we tap into that connection and the emotion. And so it starts, shall we say, it starts at home. It starts right in our Authentic Copy group, also building that way. You know, we have someone in the group that told me that she has a practice of meditation and prayer every morning. And when she saw me online, she said, I knew immediately that you were the one, you know? And so, and I think you experienced that without me even knowing it. Just took a little longer. So Lisa, in closing, what would you say to anyone that's considering joining Authentic Copy and learning the copywriting and marketing and adding that spiritual dimension to it?
Well, if anyone is looking at your course and wondering if it's worth the investment, I would have to say that it over delivers. It's just the information that you give and the critiques, and the way you interact with people, and all of the videos and the lives and all of the information that you share, it just continues to give and give. And so I feel like I've already, I haven't earned any money yet, but I still feel like I've gotten the value for my money from it. And I'm totally thrilled and happy, and I know I'm going to be successful with it. So.
I know you are too, because one of the things I know about you, Lisa, is that you're more powerful than you even realize. And that's one of the things that I've just noticed about you early on. And so I've got my little goosebumps, my celestial Sherpa chills right now, because I know that you're going to continue, that we're building this foundation. You're building it, you know, I'm giving you the tools to work with and kind of lighting a path for you, but you're doing the work. You're doing the work. And that's the thing, is that anyone that comes into the program and is willing to put that effort into it, there's so much more to it than just the headlines and the emails and the copy, that is building a foundation that goes deeper than that and is more enduring than that, so that when you add your copywriting skills and marketing skills to that, you're unstoppable. And I know that that's going to be the case for you, Lisa. Pretty soon you'll be there, because you won't be at that job when you're ready to make that transition. So, and it's a journey, you know, it's not something that happens just overnight. You know, there's a building process, kind of like building a home, you know, that you're building that foundation. And I know that's what you're doing. So thank you so much for joining me today. And I really appreciate it. I'm so glad you're a celestial Sherpa and Authentic Copy with me. And I know that what you have to say today is going to help other people as well. So thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Tina. It's been wonderful.